Don't cry, you're not alone. You'll fight the broken, the unspoken. We can't heal if the world is open. Liberia, when will we stop being the inferior? Our vulnerable children stripped of their innocence. It feels like no one hears the scene. Your heart is bleeding. Your cry is ignored when you are ill. When the wrong, the pain, and lies are kept a secret to gain for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stand tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, we can't give up when they have turned their backs on us. Liberia, we can't give up. Liberia, we can't give up when they have turned their backs on us. Young girls, don't cry. You're not alone in the fight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Tony Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is November the 19th, 2021. We wake up to news that our governor in the state of Rhode Island is offering $3,000 bonus to union members to take the vaccine. We are encouraging our people to take the vaccine. And not only in this state, there are other governors who are taking like actions, encouraging state employees and unions with bonuses to take the vaccine. So for all of us poor folks on the line, they're working hard and trying to keep our heads up. We welcome the bonus. Give us the bonus. So that's it for this morning. We also rise the news that 70% of high transmissions of COVID-19 is prevalent. Rhode Island is encouraging people to take the booster vaccines. We know that 31 million people have already taken it. So take your vaccines. Besides the boosters, other people are also saying, yes, take the booster, but we also want you to take the first and second shots as well. So if you're in that area, take your vaccines, please. Today, they're working on that pass on Biden's Build Back Better bill, trying to pass it in the House. We see that McCarthy just got off his long filibuster all night long. He just stopped all night long. Now they're going to try to vote on this Joe Biden spending bill, Build Back Better bill. And it got to pass, man. We need some ching-ching. We need some money. We need some honey. We need some money, honey. We need some money to get some honey. We need some money, get some honey. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, that's it for now. Let me see what else in my news. Okay, there's the execution of Julius Jones was just stopped, and his family rejoicing. And we thank the governor of whichever state that is in for saving this man's life and giving him another shot. So I didn't hear all the news, but I saw the family rejoicing and heard that he has been given a break. Okay? So let's look at my topics for today so we can get into my lessons. And I wish you all a good day. Today is going to be a chilly day. Right now it's in the 40s, 30, 40s. So it will not go up more than 47, 48, and high 40s. So my topics for the day are failed leadership, confusion, and deception engulf Liberia's society. Number 2, overhaul Liberia's socio-political and economic systems. 3, bar association and the application of law. Let's start my first topic. Failed leadership, confusion, and deception engulf Liberia's society. I woke up this morning and I was listening to my young sister, Yosene, talking about education and the need for us to change our society. And she kept stressing on our refusal to grow, our refusal to change, this obstinate attitude we have towards change, toward progress and advancement of our society. It's all got to change. It's got to change. Look at our society today. Things not working in our society because we have failed ourselves. We have failed ourselves. We have accepted mediocrity, low down things as our lot. And that's not our lot. We are a great people. We are a strong people. We are a smart and intelligent people. And we need to step to the plate and demonstrate the fact of who we are. When we keep cutting ourselves short, we keep giving other people more rights and privileges over us than they deserve, we will not grow. We will not progress. When we look all around and see our leadership, the way they're behaving, the interpretations of our laws, the way they're behaving, it's not right. It's not right. Things have to change in our society, and we have to be the catalyst for change. We have to be the source of change in our society. We got to demand things. Our leaders will not demand it because they're caught up in their blindness. Look at the people in our legislature. Half of those people not educated. We got to change. We've got to change. And only we can change our society. We can set down the laws and the principles and make our leaders enforce them and abide by them. But we got to change. We can't continue to refuse the good things that will benefit us and our country. We can't continue to refuse to abide by law and order that will sustain our system of democracy, our system of fairness and justice and prosperity for our children. We got to change. Right now, our society is failing. It's failing bad because of leadership failure. Borka told you all the same thing. But is Borka in the leadership in the CPP to give us the example that we need? Are our leaders in Liberia providing us with examples of good leadership that we need to move our country from this state to the next state? I hear your senior talk about jealousy, about how our people put all these things before our progress and advancement. And that's true. That's true. Because look at our society today. Look at the people who can lead us and those who are leading us. That far in between. We have good leaders in our society. But because of greed, because of jealousy, because of hatred, because of animosities, we choose the wrong people to lead us. We take people who will sell our country to foreigners instead of bringing the best to lead our people. We can't go on like this. It's not in our best interest as a people. If we know better, why don't we demonstrate better? If we know better, why do we set good and better examples for our society? You know, it's not right. It's not right. Look at what happened to these people over here, the sheriffs, yesterday. You know, she misbehaved. Yes, the woman misbehaved. Maybe she shouldn't have run behind the representative in the on the legislative grounds and tried to calipate the man, all of that. No, maybe she was wrong. But two wrongs cannot make a right. Our legislators supposed to know better. We don't set examples for law and order by setting the wrong examples. We set the right examples, because if we set the wrong examples, it will come back to haunt us time and time again. And this is our society. This is our country. This is all we have. And we must ensure that things go right in our society. We must ensure that our lawyers and our law-abiding people, our law-making people, understand their responsibilities as lawmakers. If you make law, you got to understand the law you make. If you serve as our lawmakers, then you got to understand the intricacies of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, so that you make laws that are consistent and congruent with our Constitution. But just from the behavior with the sheriff family, it makes me scared. It makes me scared that these people will take the law into their own hands and punish Liberian citizens unconstitutionally when they are the lawmakers and supposed to uphold the laws of our land, and they come to demonstrate that the people don't even know the laws of our land. Or come on, think as contempt of the legislature. The thing says it right there, contempt of legislature. And the thing says it right there. This law does not apply to non-members. Then they take the law and apply it to the sheriffs and put them in jail for 15 days. Now they got to come back and free the people, and they put it on them, telling them how their people beg and their parents. This is not right. This is not right. Even if the people did wrong, the manner in which our legislators handled this case scared me. It scared the bejesus out of me, because it demonstrates that these people don't know our damn laws. They're our lawmakers. They're making laws for us, and they don't understand the application of the very laws of our country. And the thing saying it right there, contempt of legislature. Then they think that's outside of contempt. The thing says it right there. This law does not apply to non-members. Then you go apply it to the sheriffs. I mean, the thing is just blatant right there. Telling you this law does not apply to these people. Then you take the law and apply it to the people. It scares me. It demonstrates that the Liberian legislature cannot read and write, or they cannot comprehend the shit they see in our constitution and laws. And these are the people that's supposed to decide the plight of my country and my people. It makes me scared. It makes me scared. It makes me scared. It makes me very, very scared. It makes me scared. Because this is a clear indication that my people's freedom, justice, and security are in danger, are threatened because of ignorance of our leaders. We can't be electing ignorant people in our legislature. We cannot be electing ignorant people in our legislature. The time for that is over. We cannot continue to do that. We cannot continue to do that. The people that lead us must understand their duties and responsibilities as our leaders. And if they cannot understand those responsibilities, they cannot lead us in our society. Because here we go time and time again with people wanting to lead us, can't read and write, can't understand English, can't comprehend our laws, arrogant. They will just jump in and do things because they think they got power. No, you can't do that. You can't violate a person's right because you got the power to do that. No, you can't do that. Now, here we are. They not release the people, but now they're condemning the people. This is wrong. This is wrong. Our legislature was wrong for applying Article 44 of the Liberian Constitution. And we got to stress this thing because these dummies in our legislature cannot be applying the wrong applications of laws to provisions that they're doing for us. The people got to know their jobs. They got to understand the laws they're making. They got to understand our Constitution. These people need they need some how they call it, a summit or something to teach these people about our Constitution. It is very clear that Liberia's legislators do not know or understand the provisions of the Constitution of Liberia. And this is a sad day for our country. This is a hurtful day for our people and citizens. Our lawmakers need to learn the law, need to learn Liberia Constitution, its implications, its meanings. Because we cannot have these people just spouting out articles of the corporation to punish other people that are misapplications of our laws. We can't continue to do that. We've been through that since 1980 to today. It has to and must change. The time of the Liberian people is now. Let me take my break and we'll move on to my next topic. Liberia's socio-political and economic systems. There is a clear indication that our societal living is on the brink of breaking down. Our people are dying without justice, without the rule of law. People are being missing. Our police cannot account for. Crimes are being committed in our society right now. And we have nobody to stand up for the society, to bring people to book for these crimes. So what is wrong with our society? How do we start to change our society for the better? This thing has bothered me for so long because as a political scientist, I see my society going astray. I see my society dying before my very eyes. I see what we stand for being non-existent. Crime rate going up. The stealing is unbearable. Government hands in everything that is corrupt and evil. How do we change our society? How do we overhaul our system so our society grows in a different direction? The mentalities of our people change for the better of our society. How do we do these things? And I was thinking very hard. And the first thing that came to my mind is charity begins at home. So if charity begins at home in a Liberian context, how do we approach the homes in our Liberian societal context? Through our poor society and through our Sunday society. The restructuring of the Liberian society got to impact both our traditional as well as our westernized societies. So how do we do that? So that means we got to focus on our poor society and our Sunday society. We got to focus on their teachings, their educational processes. We got to get our chiefs and our elders together so we can reevaluate our poor society. Because if the masses of our people still adhere to the doctrines and principles of those sacred societies, and we still look to them as the bedrock of our traditional culture and tradition, and we still send our children to those schools, we have to make sure now that those traditional schools are in par with our Western schools. That when our children go to those traditional schools, the education they receive in them prepare them to come out and go into the Western societal world as men and women. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we set up our poorer and Sunday societies so that they are so developed that they're not much different from the Western world, but those things that they are taught there augment their learning in the Western world? Add to, it doesn't subtract from it. It doesn't make them blind or ignorant, but it opens their minds. So when they come out of Sunday and poorer society, they can easily adjust or adapt into our Western society. How do we do that? So there is a serious societal issue we have to face here. Or as we will not grow, or as our society will not grow, our children will not develop, we will always be second citizens of the world, or last or third world countries. But in order for us to change this, we have to look at our educational structure on every aspect, the westernized area, the cultural and traditional area as well, and see how we can augment these two societies, augment and advance the two diverse institutions that are fundamental to the Liberian society. How do we do that? So this is the fundamental thinking that will change Liberia. This is the fundamental teaching that will bring our traditional societies on par with our westernized society. They will not be similar. They can never be similar because we got two cultures. They are separate cultures. But it will prepare our traditional people to easily adjust, adapt, accept westernized teachings and concepts and ideals. So how do we do it? How do we raise the consciousness of our poor and Sunday societies, where our children will go to these societies still as part of our educational system in Liberia, but it will not be divorced from our formalized educational system? We got to bring our Sunday and poorer societies up to the level where it will coincide with our westernized society, where if our people decide to send their children to poorer and send their cultural societies, they will learn as much in those societies that when they come out of those societies, adjusting to westernized education and learning will be no problem for them. How do we do that? When we are able to do that, our whole society will change. This is the concept of political thinking. Because we got to bring our people on par to each other. We got to lift our people's minds up to the level where they will easily adjust to westernized learning. They will easily transfer from cultural society to westernized. And one of the things your Cindy Quinn stressed in her talk today that was very significant, that hit me and brought this whole thing into focus. She said, the whole world is one. We're building a global society. And if we're building a global society, we cannot leave our traditional society behind. Our traditional society got to be augmented enough to the point where our children who go to traditional schools and things at a certain age will be able to leave those traditional schools and easily fit into the Western schools. Because our world is global. If we keep our traditional society so far behind, our people will never grow. Our country will never advance. So we are the precursor of democratic systems in Africa. We are the thinkers for Africa. Liberia was the first democratic republic. We were the first Christian nation. We are great thinkers of Africa. And it behooves us to resolve our political and socio-economic issues so that it can help other African nations and people adjust to the trends of westernized and traditional teachings and educations in our communities so we can bring them online with each other. Because there's no way that we can be modernized and our cultural and traditional institutions remain in the past, remain unprogressive, remain undeveloped, remain stagnant. So just as we are advancing our westernized society, we have to pay attention to our traditional societal living and culture and see how we can bring it up to par, because there's no way our Western society will develop and our traditional society will remain stagnant. This is the problem in Liberia. We have two societies, and our two societies must exist hand in hand with each other and be easily able to transfer from one society to the next society and adapt and adjust without any problems so that we can have this continuum of development in our culture and society living. This is the political thinking we need to bring to our society and our people and teach them that yes, we have a traditional society that is different from the Western society, but they must be able to coexist because we have a global world now. Everything in the world is coming together. Even if you go in the villages, the people got computer, people got cell phone, people can communicate with the world. People want to progress and advance. Everybody wants something that we never had before. So for us to advance our people, our society, we must bring our traditional and cultural societies up to a level of development where they will coincide, augment, work side by side with, buttress our Western educational system. But right now, as it is, our Western educational system is here. Our traditional system is way down here because we have not attended to the needs of our tradition. We have not looked at things that need to be changed in our tradition. We have not studied the modern trend of societal living to change the things in our traditional society that needs to be changed. Things need to be changed in our traditional society. Our traditional society cannot stay the same way from 1800 to today. No, it can't. So we have neglected our traditional society. And when we neglect our traditional society, the problems of modern day get worse because our Western society is now waiting for our society and culture to catch up. It's moving, it's advancing. So we got to look at our culture and our tradition now and say, look, we got to change. Something in our culture and our society is stagnant and needs to grow and needs to develop. So I don't know how we're going to do it. But if we love our country, if all of us love our country as Liberian people, it's time for us to stop fighting. If we really care about our country, it's time for us to stop bullshitting and fighting and doing stupidness and making stupid excuses and making stupid laws and putting people in jail or stupid things like the way they did to the Sharif family. We gotta have people who can interpret our laws. We gotta have our lawmakers who understand their duties and responsibilities as lawmakers of Liberia. Then they will be held accountable to the Liberian people. So it all falls on us as Liberian people. We are the catalysts for change in our society. If we don't say we want change, change will not come. If we don't demand that our leaders make the changes that are necessary, they will not come. So as we progress and advance in the Western realm, we cannot forget our traditional and cultural realm. It cannot stay stagnant. It cannot stay immobile. It cannot stay non-progressive. Our traditional society must progress with our Western society. Why? Because everything changes. Nothing stays the same. And our traditional people got to know that. When our traditional Liberian people know that change is coming in a traditional society, they will understand that they got to get off the laurels and change with the society, change with the changing times. But this is our duty and responsibilities as Liberian people. Other people can't come and do it for us. We have to have the political thinkers and doers in our society. People who care for our society. People who not here for tribe, a village, or all of that. No. But to see the overall picture of what is good for Liberia. And when we get these people all together in sync, our country will grow. Our society will change. Our people will understand that everything that we do in our country must be based on accountability and responsibility. Everything our leaders do, they must account for it. They have to and must. It's the law. It's the law. They must give us a good explanation of our money, of their behaviors, of their actions or inactions. That's our right to know, and that's their right to comply. So, this is where we are today. We cannot develop our Western society and forget about our traditions of society. And for too long, our traditional society has been stagnant. We have not dealt with it. So, if we got to change positively, we got to bring both of these societies, excuse me, we got to bring both of these societies on par with each other. And they're not on par with each other yet. So, maybe we need to do more in-depth studies. Maybe government need to focus on these people more. Maybe we need to set up programs and plans to bring our people together on these lines. Okay? Let me take a coffee break now. Start my last thing. But it has to be done. Our society got to be balanced. Right now, our society not balanced. Our Western society is here, and our traditional society is still down here. So we got a lot of work to bring these two society in line with each other, where they will complement each other and build on each other. Okay? And this is where we are. Because if we don't do that, change for us would be too far in between. We got to close the gap. Okay? So let me take my break now. Start my last topic. That the Bar Association of the Republic of Liberia is one of the most influential instrumentalities in our country today. Why? Because besides the courts, we need people in the society that are forthright, that are professionals, that augment our legal system or buttress our legal system with legal minds. Because we need legal minds in our country just as much as we need everything else. Our development cannot be one directional. We have to be overall focused. We got to focus on agriculture. We got to focus on social development. We got to focus on child welfare. We got to focus on health. We got to focus on everything that has to do with human development, so that we build a wholesome, functioning society. And the Bar Association right now is very important to Liberia's peace, progress, and stability. Because the rule of law is the foundation for maintaining stability in our country. The rule of law is the basis and the foundation for maintaining our democratic system. And as long as our people believe that our society is a fair, just, and somewhat equal society, all the evils will be alleviated. All the trouble and problems will be alleviated. But this cannot happen when people won't do things on the basis of tribe, or ethnicity, or family, or friends association. It will not happen. So the Bar Association is a further assurance to the Liberian people that justice in our land is paramount. That besides the court, we have friends of the courts that will speak out when there needs to be a voice backing the court and the rule of law in Liberia. And that's why we need to and must have men of integrity in every aspect of our governmental position. We must have men of integrity. People who will sometimes close their eyes and say, right is right, wrong is wrong. So it all boils down to that. Is the Bar Association living up to its responsibilities in the Liberian society today? Is it standing up with the courts and ensuring that law, order, peace, stability are being guaranteed to the Liberian people based on the rule of law? Are the lawyers of Liberia today cognizant of their duties and responsibilities to upholding the tenets of democracy, constitutional democracy in our country, and how significant it is that they pay keen attention to the courts, to the rule of law, and the application of the law in Liberian society. We have come too far over the past 40 years. We have come too far over the past 40 years with all our problems and diversities and negativities. To not find a new path for our country today. All of us point to the problem. Leadership, leadership, leadership. What are we doing to ensure that we have good leaders in our country? To ensure that the leaders of our country are men and women who are cognizant of their duties and responsibilities to uphold and enforce the rule of law. Perfectly. Impartially. Without favor. This is the responsibility of the Bar Association. This is the group that upholds the tenets of decency, of ethical living, that is paramount to the progress and advancement of any wholesome functioning society. Our Bar Association has a great responsibility to maintain the status quo of decency, of law and order, of speaking out when they need to speak out in support of law and order and the rule of law in our country. That is why the Bar Association is so significant and influential in the development of our country today. Because these are the lawyers, these are the technocrats, these are the people who are trained to ensure that the right laws, the right practices, the right procedures, the right statements are made that have good legal backing and implication and fortitude. And if we lose all of that, what else do we have as a nation and people? Our freedom means much to us today. Our sovereignty as a nation and people hangs in the balance. And we have to restore everything we have to their full potential. I hope you understand. I hope you all understand the grave responsibilities Liberian people have to our country today. The grave responsibility that members of our legal community have to ensuring that the lives of the Liberian people become better based on the rule of law, based on good governance, based on constructive criticism of our leaders. The time of the Liberian people is now. We have neglected our society and our people for too long. the bad behaviors and virtues of deception and lies and treachery have permeated through our society for far too long. And it comes time now when we must have men of truth and dignity and forthrightness to spearhead the progress and advancement of our society. The time for the Liberian people is now. Aluta! Continua. My class is done. I have said it all for this morning. I have said it all for the day. Let me go and rest my body. Oh, I see you later. I see you.